Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during the live streams. Like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos, Saturday at John's, contest coverage Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share the videos, and comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining our Stunthangar's YouTube memberships, that blue button down below that just starts at $4.99 a month. There's two other tiers above that, but that's just 17 cents. Actually, it's less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member and I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't miss it either. You can also use the super chat over here toward the bottom of the super chat, and there's a big dollar sign, and you can click on that and donate any amount you want. And when you do that, and when you support the channel, you help offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. Okay, and you also, as a member, you get unlimited replay of member-only videos, and once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. And we're talking about Sparky has like 55 years plus building and flying experience. And then John Jordan, I know he has several decades as well. So I mean, it's a great value. And then our panel, lots of experience there. So for less than 17 cents a day to be at the feet of these giants that can help you, or help you get better, it's a great deal. Please take advantage of that. Please support us. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm fortunate enough to be the host twice a week, but that's it. I'm not on this channel no other than Monday and Friday. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. I'll repeat that, Flying Control Line Stunt, and place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his video camera, me flying his beautiful Junar XL. And right now he's refinishing it. I think last time I saw, he was actually doing trim. So it's that was a beautiful plane. But that video, if you was to comment or ask a question, because that's my YouTube channel, I'll be notified right away and I'll be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar forum. So just bear with me for a second here, and I'm going to post this link. So the link now is posted at Stunthangar forum. And let me post this here. And let me go to what I call the control panel at YouTube. So just bear with me for just a moment here. And let's see what's going on. Hopefully it's streaming. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. And my computer's working a little bit slow today. That's because I have 3 teenagers and they each have computers and iPads and iPhones, and it's my bandwidth is suffering as a result of that. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Looks like we are streaming. Let me click on that and see what's going on there. We have 8 concurrent viewers and 5 likes. So if you haven't hit or smashed or touched the like button, please do that. That helps the analytics of the show. And looks like Tom Rammel, he says, like provided. Thank you very much, Tom Rammel. Appreciate that. And Dennis H, he says, like provided. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate that. And Tom Rammel is saying 30 degrees and windy today, no flying. I understand that. It's like 91 degrees up here, and I think the wind's about 6 or 7. Pretty good flying weather, but I didn't fly. I had some other more pressing things to take care of. But yeah, Tom, I imagine pretty soon you're going to start being able to fly on a regular basis. Let me get to where I can see what's going on. All right, looks like no one's in here with me yet, but hopefully I'll have some guests and maybe some new people will come in. And if any of you have problems trying to get in, go to my YouTube channel and the 2019 AMA National Championship video, and just let me know you're having difficulty, and we can do a one-on-one. I could set this thing up for you and show you how to do it once. And I've done it for others, so I know I can do it for you because I've helped a number of people do this. Because technology, some people struggle with technology, and that's okay. It's just because it's a little bit different. And but once someone shows you how to do it, it's really easy. Dennis Adamison says, like delivered. 50 degrees, windy and rainy here. A good day for jumping into the chat. Yes. Yes. I believe a Tom is getting ready to come in. I'm not sure which Tom this is. It could be Tom Creasy, Tom Rammel. There we go. Tom, what's up? How you doing? I can't hear you. I wonder if my volume's too low. Oh, maybe your mic's not on.
I'm muted. There you go. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Very good. Very good. So what does your shirt say?
Charger Robotics. We had our robotics banquet tonight. Just got back from there.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's our robotics team shirt.
Yes, very, very good. Now, do you have a video on your channel of the competition, or?
I have a video of the climber that was where the robot climbs the bars.
Right.
So yeah, my channel is Tom Rammel, with a space between Tom and Rammel. And yeah, you can find, I think there's 100 videos on there. So
yeah, I've been meaning to get back there. I haven't been. I don't even watch Sparky that often. I'm between this and everything's going on in my life. It's just hard for me. I do find time to watch stuff on YouTube. Trust me, I really love history, and so I do spend a lot of time on YouTube. But not so much on the airplanes all the time. I like watching flying. I watch a lot of windy videos on the Walt Brunel. I love watching people flying. I try to see how, how people do it and how it looks, their presentation, and try to pick up cues from that. And even motor runs. I love listening to some of the motor runs, and so I do spend a lot of time doing that. Now, have you been working on your plane?
Um, I finished my Cosmic Wind and just waiting to get a chance for the weather to get better so I can fly that. My birthday is coming up this week, and so my wife said, "What do you want for your birthday?" So I ordered 2 electric motors.
There we go. I know. Absolutely.
That's going to be about 35 electrics for me now.
Yeah. Well, I think as Bob Hunt says, only one hobby, and that's spending money. And he's right about that. And it's easy to accumulate. I mean, you figure even if you just accumulate a couple of motors a year, next thing you know, you have an arsenal. You have a lot of motors. I have a lot of glow motors. I don't even know how many I have. I haven't counted them, but I have a lot. I have 3 drawers of motors.
I think last time I counted airplanes, I had close to 60 model planes. And there's probably, well, I guess over half that are electric and the rest are glow.
Yeah,
I have a couple of gas planes also, 30cc gas planes.
Now, what is that the equivalent of? I'm not familiar with that size. What is 30cc?
That's like about the size of a weed whip motor.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty big.
So yeah, they're 2-cycle, burn regular gasoline.
Well, that's pretty cool. Looks like Gary Sinclair is making his way in here. Hey Gary, how you doing?
Good.
Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I'm ready to fly my electric SV11. I didn't get a chance to fly it today. I do like a reward and punishment type of thing to get me motivated to do things I don't want to do. So I deprive myself, just so that I can get things done that I have to do, because I mean, it's so tempting to go out there and fly and fly and fly and fly and fly, but yeah, there's other things in life besides flying, right?
Right.
So I have to sometimes just kind of withhold that just to get me to focus on something I really have to do. I have a message from Edward Carlaw. He says, "Hi, Charles. Like left. Thank you. Did Sparky send an email out about a comment waiting approval? Are you waiting approval to get into Stunthangar, Edward?" He said, if that's the case, you might want to check your spam folder, because I think it automatically generates a reset password. And then Jack Snavely says, like as usual. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that. And Jack, his message is hi all around the world. And so I did that for you. And he has these emojis of airplanes and a smiley face. Thank you very much for coming in, Jack. Yeah, so
they're reporting that the weather here in Minnesota is 20 degrees cooler than the average. And this week doesn't look any better. It looks like rain the whole week. So
wow.
I don't know when I'm going to get to fly again. I'm kind of anxious.
I know. You got to just hang on until the finally. Our weather is all messed up, no doubt about it. I mean, it's pretty hot here. It's 91 degrees, and it's May. April. Excuse me. It's 91 degrees, and it's April, so it's pretty hot already. I'm scared to think about August or September, how hot it's going to be, but probably going to be over 107.
Well, you can send some of that my way.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't really care for all this heat. I can handle it, but it's more comfortable when it's a little cooler. And Ed Carlisle says, no, I'm already logged in. Stunthangar is spelled differently. It's spelled, oh, wait, hang on. You know, I don't think it makes, I think Sparky has it set up, Ed, that you can type in either spelling of Stunthangar with an ending with an ER or ending with an AR. It doesn't really matter. I think Sparky had that already set up, so you can type it either way. But I personally always end mine with AR. How about you guys? When you guys type in Stunthangar, how do you do it?
Yeah, AR is the correct spelling of the hangar, like you park your airplane in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he says, and then Bob Branch, evening all. Hey, welcome, Bob. I don't think I've came across your name before. And welcome. So please consider coming in. I'd like to meet you, and we can talk about model airplanes face to face, real time. So if you have a camera and a microphone, and if you're a member of Stunthangar Forum, that's stunthangar.com/SMF, that's Smart Men Flying. If you're a member of that, then you'll see the link called At the Bench. If you're not a member, Bob Branch, you will not see the At the Bench link. And then you have to give time for Sparky to approve you if you're not a member. So that goes for anybody who's not a member. Sparky does have a lot. He's spinning a lot of plates. So he will approve you as soon as he can. But it's best when you register, if you do it correctly, you have to put a space between your real first and last name and a valid email address. And he should approve you when he gets around to it. Hey, John, thanks for coming in.
Hey, good to be here.
All right, it is. It
Doing flying?
No, I kind of had to get some other things done. You know, we're rearranging our place. I have three children at home, and two of them were sharing a room, and we rearranged our place so that my daughters have separate rooms. My son already had a separate room, so we're just rearranging the place. So just stuff like that, just family stuff. But it's all good. I hope to get out there soon. I was hoping to get something done today, and I was going to reward myself with flying tomorrow, but I didn't get it done today. So I don't know if I'm going to hold fast and not go flying or break down and go, because tomorrow it should be a nicer day, less wind tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you only have the kids for a short while,
Yes. That I'm oh man, they're teenagers. I have my oldest at home. She's turning 18 in about 8 or 10 days. And so, yeah, it's crazy how fast it goes. I remember when she came out the womb. So it doesn't seem like it's been 18 years.
Charles, is your neighbors and your houses all stuck together on the street? Or do you got space in between your house and someone else's?
Typically there's space. Yeah. I've never seen that out here in California. I've seen that back east where the houses are all next. Yeah. I've never seen that here. There's always a space. Now that space is getting smaller and smaller. I remember when I was a kid, that space was bigger.
When I lived there back in the 50s and 60s, we used to joke about the new houses. You could be in your bathroom. If your power went out, you just handed the plug out the window to your neighbor next door. That was then. I can't. What do you got now? Enough room for a cat to walk through?
It all depends. It all depends. I mean, the house that I grew up in as a kid, there was a lot of room between the two houses. But today, when I see the track homes I'm talking about,
yeah,
they're much more vertical, and there's not that much space between them. I have another message from Edward Carlisle. He says, I don't have any messages on the site, just my personal email account. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Ed. I don't understand what you're concerned about. I don't understand. Now I don't have any messages on my, when I log into Stunthangar, I check all the time, and every blue moon I have a message. I'll see there's a like a ribbon across, and I'll see messages, and it'll have like one or two, and then I'll know I have a message. But ordinarily I don't have messages unless someone PMs me, which that doesn't happen very often actually. So
Yeah, who wants to talk to you, right?
Yeah, who wants to talk to me? Yeah. They probably get enough of me on Monday and Friday nights for the last almost year and a half.
Yeah, it takes 3 or 4 days, to get over that.
It does. It does.
I'm just pulling your chain, bud.
Hey, Edward, why don't you come on in so you can, because maybe someone else has the same concern that you have, and it might be good. I have a question for you, and maybe when Dennis comes in. Or here comes Ed. We'll find out what's going on with Ed.
Hey,
Hey, Ed, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Okay. The reason I asked the questions, usually when I get an email from Sparky, it goes to both the Stunthangar site and messages and my personal email. All I got was something in my personal email, nothing from the Stunthangar website.
Oh, was it from Sparky?
I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know whether it's bogus or not. That's why I didn't.
Oh. But did it say anything about Stunthangar? Did as far as the source?
Actually what it says is, hang on just a second. This says gallery, new comment, awaiting approval. Oop. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm still here.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. I don't
know. So I don't know where it's something, where it's
Yeah, if you know what, if you want to err on be cautious, I don't blame you.
Yeah, usually, like I said, it's on the Stunthangar site and my personal email. That's how I got it set up, so I get them from both.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mostly get mine.
Or not.
I have an app on my phone called Tappy, I think it is, whatever it is.
Talk.
Yes. I get a response from, how do you say that again, John?
Talk.
Yeah, Talk.
Okay.
I have an app on my phone called Talk.
Okay.
And so my messages, and if I was to put a thread or start a thread on Stunthangar, and if someone was to respond or someone was to contribute, I would get a message on my Talk app.
Yeah. I think I'll just close it out for now.
Yeah, no sense taking a chance of getting a
virus or whatever, I don't know where somebody's trying to hack my emails.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know whether anybody else have gotten that message too.
Yeah. Anybody else got that message?
I've gotten them before, and other members on the site have gotten them too, and they were bogus before. So,
All right.
There was 2 comments. It had an attachment with 2 comments on it, but I didn't. I don't know what they are. So I didn't. Like I said, I didn't open it. So
That's cool. Well, now I understand. I was didn't know what you was talking about, but now I do.
I'm sorry, I didn't. That's the only bad thing when I type stuff. It's
Well, texts and emails, it's there's no inflection.
yeah.
It works, but it does have some shortcomings.
Yeah. Sometimes more than other times.
Yes. I try not to have any disagreements on text.
Yeah.
Yeah, try not to do that. So Jack Snavely says it seems that winter is hanging on, cold and windy here in Kansas.
It's that global warming.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be, or just mankind just messing with the weather.
It's got to be warming somewhere for it to be as cold out here as it is.
It's warming here in Southern California. I can tell you that much, John.
Oh, you guys are keeping it all, huh?
Yeah, it's plenty hot.
You're not passing it on.
No, I don't know why. I got plenty. Hey,
That's
John, I have a
roller
question
coaster
for
here.
you, John. I've been thinking about this. You know, my red Strega, I think I probably said this weeks ago, but I'm going to probably keep mentioning it, that it's kind of worn out. And I
Yeah.
mean that I imagine that the engine crutch has kind of separated, or the glue joint is loose between the doubler and maybe the fuselage sides. I haven't located where the problem is, but I'm going to build a new fuselage. And now my Strega has, I think that's about 1.5 ounces of tail weight. So I'm not going to hold you responsible, but I'm thinking how much further, or would I need to shorten the nose? I measured the nose ring to the leading edge of the wing, and it's 10.25 inches right now. And I end up having 1.5 ounces of tail weight. So if I want to get rid of that tail weight, potentially, how much would I shorten that nose moment?
Well, I can't tell you exactly because there's 3 or 4 numbers that you need in there, but there's a formula called balancing moments.
Yes.
And you use that. You start the 0, 0, 0 point is where your balance, your CG is. Okay, and then you measure the positive side. I would go from the CG to the middle of the engine itself, or maybe slightly forward because you got a spinner and a prop there. So go maybe to almost to the end of the crankshaft before you get your prop mounting area stuff there.
Right.
Go there and calculate the weight. You know what the weight of your engine is. You know
Right.
the weight. You know the weight of your prop. You know the weight of your spinner, and that would become the main number on the positive side. And that's the positive. That's the weight number. The positive weight number times the distance. So say it's 12 inches ahead of the CG. Okay, so you have a total of the weight of the engine prop and spinner plus 1.5 ounces. At that length is now your moment arm, or the moment arm, yeah. And now going the other direction towards the tail, it becomes negative numbers, summing the moments. That's what it's called. And so you get the best estimate for your stab and elevator, your rudder, and vertical stab. I figure, you could figure that you got probably approximately 1/3 of the airplane ahead of the CG, and approximately 2/3 of the airplane behind the CG. So, but you could check it out and get exact numbers if you want to be real precise on it. And then so now you go to the negative side, you go the weight of the stab elevator and 1/3 of the fuselage times the distance. I go to the hinge line. Now you sum those moments. The weight times the distance minus the weight times the distance. Okay, and now you should know, you know if those come out 0 or close to 0 on either side, then you know you're in balance. But if you got, say, the tail has weight left over, the negatives, you need to add nose weight, and you can figure how much nose weight it will take to balance just by how much overweight it is back there. Okay, now if you start with an airplane, you've already got the balance point too, and you've got the adjustments, then you could say, well, what is the moment arm of the 1.5 ounces of lead that you got in the nose? Okay, and you could algebraically ask the question, okay, so how many inch ounces does it take to an extra length on the nose to balance out the tail. And you can come with a pretty good number to do that. And I'm probably not explaining it very well. I'd have to sit down and look at my books to make sure I've got it exactly correct. But you could look it up online on summing the moments.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, man. Thank you very
That
much.
helps.
Yeah, it does. As a matter of fact, you've mentioned this to me before, so I just forgot about that. Once you mentioned that, oh, that's right.
The other thing you might do, Charles, is if you have one of those balancing stands, you could set that up on the center of gravity of your plane, remove the motor, tie a string around it and loop it over the fuselage and move it until you get your balance.
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you'd know how far back you'd have to move the motor.
I like that.
Well, I think his problem, Tom, is he's got to add weight to the nose. And that means he's got to be able to put the motor further out.
No. I got no. The
You
other
try
way.
to take the weight out
What's
of
the other way?
tail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering how short I need to make my nose moment.
Never mind, I misheard. So yeah, that's a good way of doing it. You know, I tend to like to be able to do it most of the time with the mathematical one because I'm drawing the plans, so I can pretty well figure it. I could, by summing the moments, you could pretty well figure out what the lengths have to be as you're drawing it, so that it balances out correctly without having to add weight or very much weight at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do is get rid of that 1.5 ounces.
That'd be nice to get rid of an ounce and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's ugly for one.
Yeah.
I mean, I could hide it, put wood over it and hide it, but it's just ugly.
Of course, you could build a Pathfinder LE and,
Yeah, I know. But what I've been thinking is I have so much invested in flying this Strega, the red Strega with the Stalker 81. I have so much time invested. I've been thinking the last couple of weeks that I really don't want to squander all that time and energy away by a new airplane and a new power system. So I'm really thinking about just continuing with this plane, the Strega, just shorten that nose moment and see what happens, because it really, unfortunately, it's. I know you have to take my word for it. Maybe you won't take my word, but it is flying so good. It's a shame that it wore out. I mean, it's like I ran out of time. I mean, it flies so much better than when I got, even when
just about the time you get it flying the way you want to, it's wore out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a stunt thing.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and you got to be practical and pragmatic with this. Okay, you can obviously continue with the same airplane and rebuild it or build a new one just like it or whatever. You could. A lot of people take that route, use the same design over and over and over through their whole career, make little changes as they go along. Look at Brett Book, for instance, and that's a tried and true way of doing it. But you see, he's making a new airplane about every other time he builds one. He changes enough that it's actually a new airplane. It just looks the same.
Right. Well, you told me he's only built 3 of them. 3 and
Okay.
4.
Nonetheless, he's making changes so that the first one he built is a different airplane than the third one he built.
Right.
Okay. What are we talking about?
We're talking about hanging with one design and in your career and just keep modifying it, or here's the other side of the equation. I hadn't gotten to it yet. Then there's a practical and pragmatic. Look at what's flying today in the greatest percentage that's doing well in the contest circuit. Look at that and see if it isn't time to write the Strega off as a 1980s design, which is what it is, and move into the modern world.
Yeah.
Where you'll have
1990s design.
Yeah, okay, well,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
yes,
but anyway, go ahead. Yep,
it's based on the Big Jim's plan.
that's
Pattern
true.
matching.
That's true. Yeah, pattern matching.
And
You're,
so-
you're right.
So, you know,
I get it.
and it's not taking away from the design or the airplane. But if you're in it to win it or to try to win it, if you want to compete, you know, because hey, I'll be long gone when Charles hangs up his wings, you know. So I don't have that much time, but he does have time. So in that case, you might take a look at some, and I'd say rebuild the Red Strega, fly it, but start looking at some of the other, pick out a design that you like and that is being flown to wins in stunt competitions across the country and even across the world. And then
Good point. Good point.
and then start building that new one while you wear the other two out and get that
Well,
one.
look at-
flying.
Look at Paul Walker. Look
Well,
at Paul Walker.
Yeah,
He started out with bad news. Then it progressed through a few different things. Then it became the Impact. And if you look at the Impact that I built 20 years ago, and look at Paul's Impact today, the new one looks much different. The nose is much longer. I mean,
Totally
but
different
he's
airplane.
still winning
yeah.
with it. He's still winning with it.
but it is a
Very
different.
nice airplane.
Yeah, it's a totally different
Oh, yeah.
airplane though. Yeah.
Oh, even the Impact that came out on the plan, the original plans to the Impact that I built, which he said was the Mark IV, is different. The
Yeah.
first one
Yeah.
looked like it was dragging its tail. So we took from right behind the pipe tunnel to the back of the airplane, we took a little over 1/4 of an inch, a pie cut out of the thing and just raised the tail up, and it no longer looks like it's dragging its tail.
And before he was flying the Impact, I'm trying to remember what he was flying, a relatively common design, somebody else's design, if I remember correctly, for his first forays into the stunt wars. And
Mhm.
then he built his first Impact. You know,
Mhm.
it's always, you know, if you look, there's a large number of people that are basically flying the same design with small modifications as he goes down the years.
Yeah.
All the top guys.
Yeah, they all do it pretty much.
Yeah, and then there's
I mean,
there's Dennis Adam Eason, who has flown lots of different designs. But you know what
Yeah.
this dirty little secret is that they were all on a basic set of numbers.
Yeah, like he
Well, you
flies
know-
generally high aspect ratio wing, V-tail.
Right.
There's a lot of common things in all his designs
Right,
with small
And-
modifications again. Yeah.
right. And then look at Bobby Hunt. There's another guy who has had several really excellent, I'd say half a dozen or more really excellent
least.
stunt ships. You know,
His are a little different
Yeah.
from each other though, because he went from gas to electric, which seemed to change up the game a little.
oh yeah, well,
Well, I tell you, a Genesis 46, whether you power it with electric or power it with a 46, it's a great airplane.
you bet.
Even though everybody says, "Oh, it looks like a flying fish," well, maybe, but that flying fish will whoop you if you ain't real careful.
Well, for
Well,
sure.
and you got to realize he started in the days about around where I started in the 50s, you know, and
Yeah,
we were flying McCoy Redheads, Fox 35s. That was the stunt engine of the day. If you guys are flying KMVs, you guys are flying Vicos, you know, but and the planes were designed and built to fly under a certain set of parameters. And then came the slightly going up to the 40 size engines, and then up to the 46, then up to the 60, you know, a little bit is good, a little more might be a lot better, you know, kind of a thing. And then they went, you know, they got into there where we started seeing things like the what's the It's not the OSFP, it was the
OSV.
FSR,
FSR.
Oh, FSRs. Yeah.
F,
Yeah,
FSRs and then the VFs. Yeah.
the FSRs were almost, I mean, they were trying everything to get them to tame down because they were just, first off, they were very powerful. Secondly, it was, they were, some guys were detuning them, other guys, you know, and finally, I think it was Ted Fancher or his group that he's flying with that came up with the idea of high RPM, low pitch prop to control the FSR. Let the engine run where it wanted to run and prop it to the speed you wanted it.
Yeah, that worked
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, and then that led to what?
The pipe.
Tune
The pipe.
pipes.
Okay, and now we're at the pipes, and the pipes have gone about as far as they're going to go. I think they may go further, but you know, there's little offshoots. Like I like my Stalkers. They're not a pipe engine. They're not a 4.2. They are a 4.24, but not like my granddad's 4.24. You know what I
That's a
mean?
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
the
now we've
4-stroke
got-
now has about like the 2 used to be.
yeah. And now we got electric, and electric is starting to go through its permutations. All of these were brought about to help, listen, the engine run, I think it was Bob's buddy, the Aries.
Billy
Billy's-
Oh,
Werwich.
Bill Werwich.
Billy Werwich is, I think he once said that a good engine run or a good power run, engine run, I think he said, is about 90% of stunt at that time. If you get an engine that ran really well and did the right things at the right times
And reliably.
and reliably, then you had a winner. You had a winning combination. Now
Yeah.
we've pretty well we've got all the power. There's a thread going on Stunthangar right now on this great subject. We got all the power that we would have liked to have had back in the day. We got it now. You know, oh, the question is why are some guys waving their hands when they're flying and all of that, and others are like right here, you know, and it basically boils down that we learned how to fly, pulling them through the maneuvers because they didn't have enough power.
Most definitely. You had
Yeah.
to pull the airplane through to get it through with a Fox 35. Most
Right.
definitely.
Right.
I did it. That's how I started out doing that. And
Yeah.
I remember it very well.
I still wave my hand too much because I started out on a McCoy 35.
No, it's only too much if you don't win.
Yeah.
You're,
Yeah.
you're only waving your hand too much if you can win. If you can wave your hand and beat everybody, it doesn't matter what you do with your hand.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy flying in the 70s and 80s, early 70s or late 70s, early 80s. Trying to remember his name. He won the Nats several times, but he put on a show in the center of that circle you
Oh.
could not believe.
I know what you're talking about.
You talking about Jimmy Cassell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that guy was
He was
like
a showman.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I also saw a picture of Bart Klipinski doing an overhead, coming overhead in the wing over, and he had his handle down here about a foot above the ground. He was down looking up like that, you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
because he was pulling it over the top, you know.
Right.
So with modern power on IC and with electric power, we don't need to do that anymore.
No, it'll pull you off your feet upright.
Yeah.
Some of them
Pretty
are really
much.
strong.
So I hope that little bit of help for you, Charles.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. The bouncing or summing of the moments. Yes. And Tom's suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
What was Tom's
I
suggestion?
missed it.
I gotta
I missed
go.
it. I wasn't here.
Got to go, Ed. Well, thanks,
Yeah,
Ed, for
gotta
coming
go.
in.
Yep.
Hey, Ed.
There you-
Hopefully I see you Friday.
All right. See you Friday, Ed.
Yeah.
Take care.
What was his suggestion?
To tie a string around my engine and loop it around the nose of the fuselage and adjust it, move it back and forth so I can get rid of the 1.5 ounce tail weight.
Not understanding.
Okay, so I'm trying to get rid of that 1.5 ounce tail weight. I know I need to shorten my nose. I don't know how much.
Yeah. Charles, I'll tell you another way to do that. I'm not going to say it's a better way. It's another way. I took a piece of clothes hanger wire because it's soft and malleable. Bend it where you can get it up under your motor mount screws. Screw your motor mount screws into the motor mount holes, you know. Anyway, your screws come forward and take them. You don't need to take them forward much because you need to bring them back. Bring that down. Bring the wire forward off the front of the airplane.
Okay.
Comes off the front of the wires, comes forward, comes down, and comes back. Then you can take the motor lugs and hang them in this piece of wire. It's just an L-shaped piece of wire. Well, U-shaped, but the top of it's bolted to the airplane, so the motor won't fall. Then you just slide that motor back until the airplane will balance on a balance stand where you want it. That's where you need the motor to be.
Well, you got to also figure the prop and the spinner.
Oh yeah, you got to have it all together. I mean, yeah. In fact, what it works out to, when you get it where you think you want it, come back another 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch because you got the weight of the hardwood and everything else up there that you're cutting off. You got to make up for that.
Yep.
So it's more difficult than it sounds. I had to do it the other way. I had to figure out how much to stretch the nose of an airplane. I built an Al-Rabi airplane, and Al built one, and he just said, okay, I'm not carrying all this lead. So he cut the nose off, added 1 inch to it. I said, well, I'm not using the same engine Al's using. What do I need to do? So I did that with a wire and put the motor forward and hung it forward. You know, it turned out to be 1 inch. So anyway,
Well,
Al was pretty smart.
That's an easy way of doing it. You're absolutely right. Myself, see what I do, I'd go right back to the summing the moments. And I'd say, okay, if I've got to have this much, what's my summing of my moments going to be? What I had to do this, let me back up a minute, trying to remember exactly. I had to do this on my sheet stagger wing. I had built it and I had it built it and it balanced with that OS 30, what is it, the Wankel, which is not a lightweight engine. And I had that on the front, but it balanced perfectly. And so I flew it that way for a while, and someone made me an offer for the Wankel I couldn't turn down. So I took it off, and I was going to put a Thunder Tiger GP or 42 GP on there. So I weighed the two, and I says, I have this, and I had to stretch it 1 5/8 inches. Yeah. Well, I made a new radial cowl for it. And, you know, it really didn't look bad at all, stretched out, but it balanced again. Didn't have to add any weight to it, just by summing the moments and seeing how much moment I had to add to that nose to make up for the difference between the weights of the two engines. Because I was going to use the same prop and spinner and all of that. So that's all I had to worry about, the difference between the two engines. So there's the way you did it and you described it is easier. But for me, I do everything graphically on the board, you know, right. And so I'm used to doing it that way and I get pretty good results with it.
Charles,
yeah.
If his way scares you because of the math involved, don't feel lonely. That's the reason I use the wire.
I understand.
It's high school. It's high school.
It's been a long time since high school, brother. I don't remember
proportions you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's basic. It's related to proportions, but it's algebra, high school algebra.
Yeah,
simple, early high school algebra.
Yes,
first semester.
and I love math, by the way. I absolutely love math.
Hey, Charles, if you're building another Strager, right? Like your 81 Strager, right? Your red one.
Yeah.
Your best educated guess is probably going to be as good as anybody else's.
Yes,
that's right.
You know how your first one balanced. You know where it balanced. do it based on your best educated guess. And I can tell you right now, you're going to be pretty close. And then after that, if you can get it close enough, all you're going to have to adjust is either the weight of your prop and your spinner or the weight of your tail wheel.
Right.
So you can get it almost exact.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to Dennis Adamison. Thank you for coming in, Dennis.
Hey,
Dennis.
Buddy.
Dennis,
And Howard Rush, thank you for coming in. Howard, I know you stepped away from the camera,
Howard.
but there he is in the background. And you guys, I got to respond to Tom Creasy. He has commented 4 times. I don't want to feel I'm ignoring him. So he says, God, good. I think he meant good evening, but he has God on his mind. Says, God evening, everyone. Last week, computer went haywire watching from my phone. Oh, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then Tom Creasy goes on to say, I'm in the sanding stage, sanding, and then some more sanding. Did I mention sanding?
Hey, Len knows about
I'm
that.
at 600.
I know all about that shit. I gave up.
600 grit now. Okay. And then he goes on to say, hopefully color will be sprayed before Friday. And then he goes on to say, would like to see Jimmy in a video. Yes, I miss seeing Jimmy Casal fly. I've only heard of it. I'd love to have seen it. And then the last
Saw
thing
him in person one time. He was great.
the last thing he said was, I hang the motor and move it while my plane is hanging on my Vanessa CG machine. You know, Tom, I was thinking about, I saw the article on the Vanessa CG machine, and I thought of you, Tom, but I would love for you to show that Vanessa CG machine. Have you guys seen that?
I have seen it. I have seen it. It's genius.
Yeah, it is.
Charles,
Yeah.
Charles, all you got, I mean, the Vanessa is a really nice machine. I'm not knocking it. I have a different brand, does the same thing. All you need is 2 pencils and 2 old school erasers. Mount them in 1 block of wood that's big enough to suspend the thing. Mark where it needs to be on the plane. Put the plane on the thing and then work from there. This everybody worries about, well, I don't have that high-tech balancing beam. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You're
Keep
right.
it simple.
Yeah.
You're right. Phil,
Keep it
but
simple.
I've seen
Phil,
Wendy.
the problem I found with the 2 erasers on the pencil
Yeah.
is my planes are so dang heavy that the tips of the erasers would bend over.
Ooh, I never had that problem. Never had that problem. But
So,
then I fly smaller airplanes anyway. I can't handle the big airplanes.
So yeah, Tom Creasy said he'll demo it next week. But now I have the Great Plains CG machine, and that's pretty
That's
neat.
what I have.
I got to show you
what I
guys my CG machine. You're going to laugh your asses off.
I gotta go get a drink. I'll be right back.
All righty. Okay. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, so Dennis,
Charles, what is this? I'm sorry. What is this new one you're building? Are you talking about Precious Balsa?
Yeah, Precious Balsa was being built, and I already have it already set up for the K77 on a tune pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know, when I get this plane built, I'm going to be like starting all over trying to figure out this K77, you know, the pipe length, the prop I'm going to need. There's going to be a lot of time spent figuring out that system. And I've invested so much time already with the Stalker 81. Why not just build another fuselage? I build another one, maybe keep going with the Precious Balsa, but build another Precious Balsa with this Stalker 81, because I really have a prop now.
Sounds like a great idea.
I mean, I have a
Sounds like
prop
a great
now
idea.
that I think is excellent for the motor, for the plane, and it's like, because I have an impact. Matter of fact, a friend of mine is helping me, Bob Brooks. I'm giving you a shout out to Bob Brooks. He actually fixed my impact. He called me today and said it's done. I mean, I need to tissue it and dope it, but he actually fixed all the damage. And because that was going to be my test bed. That one, I had the K77 in with the tune pipe I was flying at. And so I was so disappointed when I came in a hot, I was rolling in, landing, and I hit the pitcher's mount and hit, damaged the wing. And I was so disappointed because that was my test bed. And so anyways, that's what's going on.
I'm telling you what, you had an excellent test bed. That's a great airplane.
Yes, it
But
was.
I do have one question. A K-77 in an impact? I
Yeah,
fly mine on a 45. Good grief.
now, this was not a light impact. This is a 77.9 ounce impact. Let me check
Holy
out.
cow. I thought I became one with a paint gun.
Let me check out what. And that's not
Oh
laughable.
my goodness.
DG check, 2 pieces of 1/8" plywood in an A-frame shape, and away we go.
Very wow. That is pretty neat.
Have you
That's
ever
all I
poked
do.
through the,
Have you ever
poked
poked?
through
That's
the
cool.
wing on that?
Yeah, have you ever
What's
gone through
that?
the center section? I mean, those points are
Well,
pretty
no,
hard.
because they're just on the outsides of the fuselage, just past the fillets.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And it's on the sheeting. It's not where it's tissued or anything,
Very
but it
cool.
works. It does the trick.
That
Yeah.
Strager's heavy
That's
enough
neat.
to probably poke through the sheeting with that.
I know. I'd have to set mine so gently to make
Well,
sure.
you're supposed to set it gently. You don't drop it on.
I know,
I
but
heard the Ecuadorians are making a pilgrimage up to San Diego area to pray to the balls of God up there.
Yeah.
please bring some more balsa.
Hey, Len,
Yes, sir.
don't build any I-beams, okay?
No, that could be a problem. Yeah, you're right. I never thought of that deal. Yeah, that could be a problem.
No
Yeah.
I-beams, you're gonna be in Fat City.
Yeah,
But,
that's right. I haven't built one yet, so I'm all right.
that's it. That's it.
We
Yeah,
were
don't
talking
worry.
about you a little bit ago, Dennis. Did you hear that?
Oh, geez.
Some of it was even good.
Yeah. Yeah, we said that, we were talking about the various, good pilots that have won the Nats or whatever over the years. Oh, dang, what'd I do? And how many of them had started out with a design and kept modifying the design, as they went along and are still flying the same design 20 years later. And then we said, and then there's Dennis, he flew a lot of designs, but they were all had basically the same set of numbers. Was I correct in that?
Yeah, I didn't catch about a third of what you said, John. I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of trouble picking things up tonight. So
Let me get a little closer to the mic. I said that a lot of the top flyers throughout from the day to today started out with one design and they pretty much stayed with it, through their whole career, just improving a little by little on it. And then there was you flew a lot of designs, but they were all basically the same, in the same numbers group.
that's a yes and no. I guess I was doing okay. I built 2 airplanes that were pretty much the same in the early 1970s, and lo and behold, they flew exactly the same. They flew well, but they flew exactly the same, and to me, that meant no progress. All right.
Okay.
I think every airplane you build, you should use the opportunity to say, well, gee, what do I wish it did better? All right.
Right.
You make it a little longer, a little shorter, a little fatter, or, whatever you think you want it to do. And if you reach the point where the airplanes are flying identical, that doesn't sound like progress anymore, does it?
Take it about as far as you can.
Yeah. And then I would, actually mentioned it last week. I was successful and comfortable running my my OSS 35s and everything like that. But everybody was looking at big airplanes, and I didn't like the performance of the big airplanes. At least not what I saw, but people were looking at big. So I built the next airplane with a 63-inch wingspan. All right.
Yeah.
And 567 square inches. And lo and behold, it was long and skinny, and it was the biggest wingspan on the field at the time. All right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I had a big airplane, or at least people that counted it that way. So, and again, that was one way to get out of, to get out of the comfort zone of everything that had evolved. And it was like, bang, let's try something again. But, then you start evolving again from there. And the big things I did with that was the first long wing airplane I built had too short a fuselage on it. And
Which plane was that? Was that the Orange Crate?
yeah, the Orange Crate.
Okay.
And the problem is that, you know, I set the moments up on it the way I did, you normally did relative to the wing. All right. But the wing root was 2 inches narrower than what I was used to building.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole airplane basically was 2 inches. That's where I started getting on the kick of taking the fuselage and saying, you know, like the stab, for example, ought to be, you know, position ought to be measured more important, you know, relative to like where the nose ring is, and the wing relative where the nose ring is. You know, I got this piece of lift, if you will, and, you know, 1/3 of the way back on the fuselage, and I got this turning device at the back end. And the farther those things are apart, the better it got. And of course, I suppose there's a limit to that. I haven't found that, you know, for me at least, I haven't found that limit. But whether the airplane is a Nobler or an SV-11, I think the nose and the wing and the stab ought to be pretty much in the same place. So I think if you take little airplanes and put big fuselages on it, you get a lot of the big airplane feel out of it. And so that's where I've been going, you know, for the last few years since I got back and all that. So,
Well, you know, it works. I remember for a joke once when I was flying RC at the RC field, one of the guys crashed his trainer. And so he went and got him he had like a 1-inch square piece of pine. And he mounted the wing right about where it looked right on that 8-foot long piece of pine. Mounted it there and mounted the engine, and then he used the stab and elevator and all that from his trainer, mounted it at the back and put all his controls. So anyway, they moved the wing around until they got where it should bounce. Threw that thing in the air, and son of a gun, that thing flew pretty good, except the fuselage was so flexible. You know, he'd turn and the stab and elevator would, you know, do this while, and then the wing would catch up.
yeah. Well,
But-
flexible is no good.
No, but
Yeah, that's
when it was
true.
flying straight and level and doing loops, it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, you guys. What's the difference between shortening the nose versus lengthening the tail moment? Like if you lengthen between your flap hinge line and your elevator, you lengthen that as opposed to shortening the nose to get rid of that 1.5 ounce tail weight.
Well, if you're just getting rid of the tail weight, obviously that's right. But I think the length of the tail affects what you feel at the handle. Right.
Yep.
What by that I mean when you go to turn the corner, how does it feel going around the corner? How does it flatten out at the other side and stuff like that?
Right.
The nose length is, I think, primarily a question of balancing the airplane. There is some distinct, you know, there is some, you know, the force of obviously having a propeller out there, there's a, you know, some impact on stability and control and everything like that. But really, I think the most important thing is is balancing.
Well, the longer the nose is, the more you get the prop effects, because you're giving the prop a longer moment. So the old rule of thumb is to make the nose long enough to house the engine and the fuel.
Or the batteries, whatever.
Or
yeah.
the batteries, but
Yeah.
you know,
What prop effects are you talking,
what?
what prop effects are you talking about?
Recession.
No.
Well,
Well,
I'll tell you what,
It
I
The thrusting is happening at the prop end, all right? So,
you know, let's put it that way then. So anyway, and then your tail, you use it just like you were talking about, right, Denny, for the leverage and the, you know.
yeah. See, again, when you start messing around with aspect ratio, things like hinge line measurements mean nothing. means absolutely nothing. My wing is 2 inches narrower.
Harry
All
was
right.
saying,
And the same, and then I compound the issue by, as often as not, I really like, trying to sweep the hinge line forward. It's not straight across the airplane. So it's like, what's my hinge line moment? Well, measure it where you will,
Maybe
You want to
now-
measure it at the
Yeah.
root, you want to measure it at mid span, it's different. All right.
Right, right.
So, I think, you want to get real excited about it. You'd be looking at aerodynamic centers, of the wing, of the stabilizer and things like that, and you would get numbers approaching it, but the hinge line moments, doesn't really mean a lot to me, only because the stuff, when I'm building this stuff I like to build, I'm in a different zone on dimensions. So,
Well, as long as you know where your base point is,
mhm.
for instance, you like to, from the nose ring to the CG, from the nose ring to the, wherever you want to measure on the stabbing elevator, you're using a point to begin at.
Mhm.
I tend to like to go from the CG to forward and to the CG back. And a lot of guys like to go from the hinge line to the
You're
hinge
next,
line.
Phil. Don't worry, you're next.
They like to go from the hinge line to the hinge line. And they're all relevant numbers. They all relate to the same thing. It's just a different starting point.
Phil, go ahead, Phil.
To try to get back to what I think Charles was asking, like a SIG twister. If you fly a stock SIG twister and you fly that thing and it feels like it's always wanting to hum a little bit, that's when I did my Stinger, it's just a twister. It's been stretched. It's instead of fancerized, I did it. But anyway, I made the tail 2 inches longer. It don't hump. It's just dead steady. But I also increased the area on the stab. It's bigger than a stock one. And I was really just trying to round it because I don't like square corners. I like rounds. But a question for Dennis. I have started slanting my trailing edges forward a little bit too, about 12 degrees, between 12 and 17 degrees. And I think it flies better in the wind. It don't load up.
It's funny, and you talk to different people, they will tell you, yes, it does. And other people will say, oh, no, it doesn't. All right. They'll say it's the opposite thing. And I think it's a question of what that it's a hobby. You build what feels good and stuff. Personally, I like the idea that, when you sweep the trailing edge forward, you're assuming you keep fairly normal root chord, tip chord, and everything like that. Basically, the high point of the wing ends up being pretty straight, wingtip to wingtip, which means the quarter chord is pretty straight, and that's essentially where the wing is worked. In effect, you're taking out wing sweep versus most normal designs. The other way you can take out the wing sweep, and you see this in a lot of modern airplanes, is you notice the wingtips seem to be getting wider and wider. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very little taper in the leading and trailing edge, a lot of balanced, if you will, airplanes and stuff. That's another way there. But personally, again, I think that narrow wingtips are less prone to being jostled in turbulence and things like that.
Yeah.
I like the wing area concentrated at the fuselage. Ideally, something like an elliptical wing, where you have most of the area is fairly close to the wing, to the fuselage, and then the tips get down to very little, and it seems it seems steadier in the wind. That's all.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to my newest one. It's a semi-elliptical wing, and the trailing edge is straight, but the next one will probably have a slanted forward a little bit trailing edge.
Yeah.
But they just don't seem to yaw and bang around as much in the wind and nasty stuff.
Yeah, and then of course the extreme, if you make the wingtips, with a straight taper wing, you make the wingtips extremely narrow, just a straight taper out. You get to the point where the wingtips just aren't working very hard. They're not doing very much.
Yeah, not doing anything really.
Yeah, and they're just, and so, there used to be, I guess I try to keep the wing tips within, something like 70% of the wing root if I can, give or take,
Yeah.
swag it. What does that mean? That and a buck will buy you a donut someplace. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it's locked in or anything like that. It's just
70's right on what we ended up with when the root to the tip is 70% of the root.
yeah.
And that seems to be the magic number so far.
Yeah, I don't know
But,
if I don't know. I think 50 sounds like it might be too far, but even then, have you ever, I've never seen one fly. Have you ever seen I think it was called the Tucker 4. I think it was a Ron Tucker design.
Never seen one fly.
But it has a very highly tapered wing.
Mhm.
And I thought it looked kind of, treacherous, if you will. And then there's airplanes like that one Will Davis flies, the Curtis Comer, the Sky Dancer.
Sky Dancer. Yeah.
Virtually a swept wing. All right, but it's also, there's a lot of taper and it's all in the leading edge. And you look at it and it doesn't look like it should be a happy airplane. I've only seen Will's fly and it sure seems like it flies pretty happy. So
I flew Curtis's one time and it flies very happy.
yeah.
I asked Curtis, could I get a set of plans to this? And it's one of the planes on my list to build.
Yeah, Roy.
I've seen, excuse me?
Roy DeCamera
I've seen Will's
things, and they were beautiful, and they flew fine. I wouldn't have thought they'd have worked, but they were just fine.
Well,
I remember Roy's.
another one like that was the the Magnum, George Aldrich's Magnum.
Well,
I mean, that thing's got awful lot of taper and leading edge. I mean, the one at VSC, he brought the lead outs out in front of the wingtip.
yeah.
And it flew great. It looked weird, but it flew great.
There's
I think that was the guy from Texas, and I'm sorry, I cannot think of his name. He's president of Frank McMillan. His plane looked weird, but I watched him fly it. It flew great. But Frank's a heck of a flyer anyway.
See, that airplane to me, if you could bring those wingtips forward about 2 inches, it would look perfect. It would look like it's supposed to look. Would that make it fly any better? I don't know. But
I thought about doing that and just calling it something else. It wouldn't be classic legal, but it would be fun just to find out.
yeah.
Maybe do that one day.
Brian Ether had his firecracker.
Yeah.
That's a plane I want to build.
Yeah.
That's a fun airplane.
And it's a good wind plane, according to all reports I've heard.
The one I saw fly was flying in a horrible wind, and it was just dead steady. And it and one elliptical wing airplane were the only 2 dead steady airplanes out there all day. Howard, be careful with that sandpaper. Don't get too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Already did, huh?
Yes. 2,000 and 2,500.
Oh, okay.
Tucker 4 crashed on my very flying circle here a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Well, you've seen one fly then.
Yeah, it was Mike. He hooked up his old time lines to it by mistake. Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of ran out of room to do a loop.
Ran out of
oh
space.
boy.
One of the guys here built a ringmaster, not a ringmaster, but the full-bodied ringmaster that the wing is flat and straight, but it's at the bottom of the fuselage. It's got a lot of stagger.
Oh,
Williams
you're talking
ringmaster, I think it's called.
Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Got the
That was Williams. And
He took off with that thing, and it took off and free flighted and came across at him, not quite inverted, but not quite on a knife edge. It went across to the other side of the circle. He said he thought he had it, and when it came, it snapped and just about to come apart in the air, but it hit the ground, and I mean there was nothing left. He builds very light anyway, but Larry's plane Larry Drone's a great builder. I mean, the boy can build some beautiful airplanes, but that one, the problem was he let someone borrow the airplane, and it wasn't quite finished. We discovered when it was looking at the wreckage, there was no wingtip weight in it.
No.
That's what caused the problem.
Oh, and he didn't check it. Shame on him.
No, I said, you borrowed an airplane and didn't check it out before you flew it. Well, no, I thought Larry had checked it out, but Larry hadn't flown that airplane.
Oh.
Yeah,
I thought
really.
he did it. I thought he did it. Oh, jeez.
Oh, no, Larry didn't do it. No, it was Buddy Barbie flew it. And it was a mess. It was awful. Larry felt awful. Buddy Barbie felt awful.
I
Tom
bet.
Looper and I, who witnessed it, we all felt awful because it was a gorgeous little airplane. Larry builds it looks like a piece of plastic, and to see it just get destroyed on the first flight was really hard.
That's too
Mm.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me interrupt for a second and catch up on the chat box. Tom Greasy, he's saying that this machine is hand free. He made his Vanessa. He actually made. I remember when he completed it a couple years ago. His Vanessa, he actually made it based upon some plans. His Vanessa CG. Tom Greasy.
I'd love to see that.
You got.
I'd like to see the plans because I'd like if I could build one of those, I probably would.
Oh, they're easy.
And then Banshee 15 says, I use the Vanessa center of gravity machine himself. So thank you for coming in, Banshee 15. I appreciate it. And we're all caught up.
Somebody published the plans. I'll build one.
Yeah, they did publish it. Go online.
Yeah, I'd like to find that.
Yeah, go online.
Vanessa plan machine. I'll look for that.
Hey, Robert Whitley, how you doing?
Doing real good, Charles. Everybody else.
Hey, there he is. He's back.
There you are.
Yeah, I've
was
been
wondering
playing.
what happened to you.
Next day.
Did you get my address?
No, that's what I'm calling you about here, partially. I picked up your stuff yesterday or the day before yesterday, so it's all ready to go. So I
emailed you. I emailed you on a PM with my address.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Can you PM him now, John? Just PM him.
I can tell him what it is right now. It doesn't bother me.
That might be easiest, sure.
Yeah, you got a pencil and paper there?
Right here.
Okay, it's 187 North Center Street, Delta, Utah, 84624.
Okay, read back 187 North Center Street, Delta, Utah 84624.
You got it.
Okay, I'll get that in the mail for you tomorrow or the next day when I'm out and about.
Okay, be sure and put your address on there so that I can send this clunk of stuff I got here.
I'll put a return address on it.
Okay.
You didn't, Robert, I still got to send you your covering. I forgot.
Well, you got my address, did you?
I'm sure I got the PM and it just slipped my mind. I'm sorry. I'll send it out.
Yeah, for some reason, I've never been able to check sent PMs on Stunthangar. I can never bring them up to know if something actually went through.
Okay, I think it did. I think I saw it on there and then I got busy and I forgot all about it. Sorry about that.
What is that
Yeah,
airplane behind
come
you?
on.
That's pretty, the green and white one.
What's that?
What's that airplane behind you? Green and white,
Oh,
directly behind you.
You know what? Oh, that blue and white. I've got my SV11 there. I don't have a green and
That's
white
blue
one.
and white? Okay.
Yeah.
No,
blue
it
and
looks
white.
green on my screen. Okay.
My other one's
Pretty.
green, but it's in the box, so I don't think your vision's that good.
No, no, trust me, my vision's not that good.
That's just a Super Tiger 56 on that. I'm going to prep it up. I'm hoping to get out this weekend if the wind isn't too bad. Friday night, Saturday, we had beautiful flying weather around here, but I got tied up with this disgusting thing called work.
No,
Yeah.
they ought to outlaw that.
Wasn't
Hey,
bad. I
he-
was to do a mountain trip
his
with a
work is-
fellow and his Cardinal on Friday, but the weather was horrible through the mountains. It would have been suicide, or at least unpleasant. Saturday, it really was pretty decent. So I did about 7.5 hours or so of flying that day. Made for a
You
long
fly
day.
real airplanes though.
Yeah, real
You get to
airplanes.
fly real airplanes for work, so that's not terribly. I can't be terribly sympathetic when you get to go fly real airplanes. Yeah.
I love the flying, driving to the airplanes. I'm so sick of that though.
Oh yeah.
The commute,
Well,
just like
Especially when
the other.
you have all
I-
that pretty white stuff up there. Ooh, pass.
I
Yeah, we don't have
understand.
anything down. The
I
only white
understand
stuff
what you
up in the
mean.
mountain.
I understand what you mean, Rob, when you say it's doesn't, when it's bad weather and flying in the mountains can be no fun at all. There,
Ooh, golly.
you wind up a blind alley and you have to do some crazy climbing turn to get out of there. A friend of mine lost his airplane that way.
Yep, there's somebody goes down every year through just stupidity in the mountains.
Yeah.
Density, altitude, poor aircraft performance, but it's usually piss poor piloting.
Well, there's usually a link to that almost every one of them.
Yep. So it's, we had a few ugly crashes here in Canada this last week. There was a Mooney went in by Calgary, basically just smuck hard and flat into level terrain near the airport. Hit hard enough to break a wing on a Mooney, and that takes a lot of doing. They're tough wings.
That takes a lot of doing.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
a
it
tough
was
airplane.
it was a young gal instructor supposedly being checked out in the airplane by a guy in Calgary, and it was horrible weather. They shouldn't have been up, and it was first approach to land with her, and she lived, but pretty tough shape. He's dead. Another Comanche, couple of guys from Alberta went off to Ontario to pick it up, and they were ferrying it back on the northern route north of Sault Ste. Marie, and just disappeared. There's no ALT, there's no spot, there's no cell phone beeps. So, and it was bad weather again. And I've flown that route a few times, that exact route. And where they probably disappeared is real narrows between a couple of the large lakes, Great Lakes. And so they're probably with the fishes there.
Yeah.
Then there was one other one. So it's been a rough week for us here.
Yeah. We still got a lot of snow on the ground.
The guys had a really good weekend, I guess, so Friday and Saturday flying out at our field on the models.
Oh, good.
So it's.
I got to go.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Good. Bless you.
Got me wet too.
I got to go to Charlotte to fly with I was supposed to get to fly with the guys down there Saturday and got called home, but got to see one of those new I can't remember the name of it now. It's not the Axioma, it's the other airplane. Looks a lot like an Axioma, but it's actually a classic from the brothers, and I cannot call their name right now.
The Yashenko Classic.
Yashenko Classic. That thing, that's a beautiful airplane. Flies very well. I would love to see I have yet to see an Axioma fly. I want to, but I haven't seen it yet. But I guess first one I get to see will be Mike's when he gets back. I did get up this morning and take off down to South Carolina and take Trey in my Revolution. He's going to get it ready and primed and take to the Nationals with him as his backup airplane. The Romanian Nationals. He built a case that is gorgeous to hold 3 airplanes. Man does some pretty work. I'm telling you, he's something else. But he is a character. Lord have mercy.
Let me interrupt again. Brent Williams says, "Hola, amigos."
¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa, amigo?
Hola, Brent Williams. Thanks for coming in. And then Tom Creasy says, "You can work on the plane and change weights in different locations and watch what happens to the CG in real time." That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of model build done, but it's the long, slow process to finish that profile. I've got it almost finished, about 2 more hours maybe for where I want it.
That's
good.
On that vector, I'll just show it to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Big. By the way, thanks for coming in, Carl. Appreciate it, buddy.
Big John, I got one for you in a minute. Oh man, that's pretty.
That is pretty.
That is really pretty.
I got to do numbering and graphics yet. I just got a photocopy of a kit box.
Really pretty.
A little bit of trim to do in and whatnot, but otherwise it's
What are you
pretty
holding your tank on with?
Pardon me?
What are you holding your tank on with? What is that?
Oh, I just came up with a little bit of a different system here. I was just playing around. And I'm just using some Velcro strips. I'll just peel them off here.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll be darned. That
Yeah,
looks like it would work.
I've done that before. It works good. And I have the
Yeah,
same
I
plate.
made a ply mount. You can't see it, of course, because I got it all monocoated, but I took some
Yeah.
thin ply 30-second strips and just made spacers for the Velcro thing and epoxied it in and just
That
have
is
some.
really slick.
I've got some 440 inserts in there, and that it seems to
Really
work.
slick.
A profile.
That's
It's always
very
a
nice.
nuisance out, but that seems to work.
Now, are you planning to adjust your tank with the Uniflow, or are you going to actually move that?
I'll just
plate
adjust
up
it with the flow.
All right. Very
If I
good.
really had to, I suppose I could slot those, but there'd be a nuisance because they're countersunk.
Yeah.
Nuisance. And I have
And I could also play around with it on adjusting it by just putting a plate under one, either the bottom or the top of the Velcro strap against the fuse. And that'd move the tank up and down too.
Yeah.
And I got one other project that I think I might start prioritizing, given the state of the Ukraine. This old Frankenstein Nobler was just given to me. It's actually fairly light. It's got some unknown wing on it. So obviously
Not
it's
a
a beast.
Nobler.
No, it's not a
half
Nobler now.
No.
But anyway, the colors on it just caught my eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, everybody needs a beater airplane when you're learning the
Yes.
pattern.
Yes. Yes.
And you know how the Ukrainians are taking and salvaging of Russian equipment and everything else and stealing their tanks and all that.
Mhm.
Well, I just happen to have one of these,
What do you got?
Oh my goodness.
What is that?
and I figure I'll
An
put that in.
MDS?
Yep, an MDS 40. I figure
I'll
I'll
be
put that in
darned.
the nose of it and paint on it powered by captured Russian engine.
Very good.
I love it.
Oh,
I like
that's
it.
good. I like that. That's good.
But your
I'm not
SP11,
gonna fuss about it too much. 2 patches on it and a bit more blue, and I need to make a cowl for it, but
your SP11 looks good with those wheel pants. I might put my wheel pants on mine, but I don't know if mine will fly off grass. Do you fly off grass, or are you flying off?
yeah, that's all we have is grass, but we keep it well mowed. The club years ago bought a ride-on mower too, so our field is just about as good as asphalt really for landing on, unless it's been raining, of course.
Yeah.
That Mac wing off
Sure.
the tail of that thing. That we don't support Mac.
That was put on there before. we
I
got
support
really-
Mac so little, I'm gonna put my AMA number above my Mac number on my airplane.
There we go.
Well, I
That's
was
true.
thinking about, I had them all dug out until the latest bout of idiocy from them. I had some stickers that I was gonna put on the Vector. And I think they'll just go back into my stash box.
A good boy. You're smart. Yeah, I'm so done with them.
Charles is talking about the wheel pants. At Atlanta last year, the grass at Georgia is so thick. How thick is it? The ringmasters couldn't get off the ground. You had the hand launcher.
Wow.
Wow.
But anyway, John Simpson was there with an Air Tiger 36 powered Cavalier. What else would John be flying than a Cavalier with full wheel pants? So help me, it looked like he was taking off with floats or something. That thing just floated across the grass and took off so pretty. And when he landed, it just landed like it was on asphalt. Those wheel pants don't hurt it a bit in the grass.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
I
awesome.
Just
love
push
how-
the grass out of the way. They
I
just
just love-
managed to push the grass and let it land.
I just love wheel pants when the plane's flying inverted. It is just such a pretty sight.
No, I think it adds something to the airplane anytime.
Yeah.
You know what's even prettier on an airplane flying inverted, Charles?
What's that?
Retracts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's how you get in a retract.
I think your
tell you what.
lovebird was saying yes for real.
yeah, he is. He's talkative tonight.
Okay.
I tell you what, the first time, if you want to get a real shock, I went to see a friend of mine and lives in Kentucky, and a friend of his allowed me to fly his airplane. Wanted me to fly his airplane, so I took off and flying the airplane, and all of a sudden I think it was the second lap, the landing gear went up. Well, nobody told me it had retracts.
Oh, wow.
So you talk about a shock, this thing, all of a sudden it speeds up and then the speed control grabs it and brings it back down. So, roar, and then you're just fly the pattern. And then I understood what Bob Hunt meant. Bob Hunt's quote was, everybody likes it when the landing gear goes up. I like it when the gear comes back down. I knew exactly what he meant because this was a guy's brand new airplane. I was scared to death because the engine had already done the 5-second burp and the gear hadn't come back down yet. And I thought, oh boy, I'm going to tear up his new airplane. And all of a sudden I realized the gear is down. I don't remember when it came down, but it came down. But that was just it was a fly off the board airplane. I flew it its third flight. He didn't fly it till the fifth flight. Figure that one out. And the plane flew right off the board. I didn't know it was the third flight. I went in and just flew it. I put it through a pattern. And everybody's saying, we were just going to go around and watch it go round. You didn't tell me that. So I flew it.
Yeah. Well, it's like
It
Bruce
was a nice
Perry's
airplane.
Bruce Perry's Too Much Twin. That's glow powered, but he's got a pretty neat system on that. It's acoustically
It
operated.
does. I've watched videos of him flying that, and that thing flies extremely well. But I don't see how Bruce stays on the ground. Watch him through the overheads and the especially the wing over. It looks like things just all but taking him off the ground. And Bruce is not that little. He's not a little guy.
He says that 2 to 3 flights a day is maximum on that airplane. He's wore out.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. He looks like he's getting a little light on his feet.
75 planes.
Well, see, I can't fly stuff like that, so I don't even worry about it. I go fly. I've got an SV11 with a Tiger 60 in it downstairs. I go fly that thing 5 times, and the next day I don't want to fly anything. My shoulder be aching so bad I can't stand it. But for the guys that can fly them, I think they're the best flying planes out there. The bigger planes, I think, fly better. But I just can't. I can't handle the big airplanes. Now, the funny thing is, the big electrics like Revolution don't bother me a bit. I don't understand it.
Well, I better
understand. I wish
fly in the big airplanes because I got 3 of them now.
Yeah. Well, I have several. I have a Pattern Master that isn't finished yet. I'm working on it. I have the Impact is a pretty good size airplane, even with just a 46 in it. I have 2 Bob Hunt Crossfires. One's a standard. I call it a standard and an XLTC tricycle. Now, none of these are painted yet. Not one of these is painted yet, except Impact. But I mean, it's just there for a while. I wanted big airplanes. I've got a Bearcat downstairs with a 72 4-stroke in it. I don't know about these big airplanes.
That's a big airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing how light. It's amazing how light it is until you cram that 72 in the front of it. Then it gets heavy quick.
For sure.
I got that Super Tiger 60 that I'd eBayed cheap enough the other day in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
I think with shipping, I paid $112 Canadian for it. So it's pretty cheap. And it seems like a decent engine. I just got to order a spray bar and a needle valve assembly and a Venturi for it.
Yeah.
And it was with the factory muffler. So I figured it was a good buy for that. And it'll interchange totally with my 56s. And talked with Brian Gardner the other day, I inquired with him, emailed him, and yeah, he is out of virtually everything, but he sounded optimistic about getting parts because I guess his cylinders were from Ukraine.
He can't get piston material, and that was from Ukraine.
Oh no, it was piston material. Yeah, he's got cylinders, but he didn't have piston. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on 4 Tiger 60 sets.
Yeah, so I've got a order in for at least one. I should get a couple of them actually because I'm going to get another 60.
If you get one, you'll want another one. I promise you. His stuff is beautiful.
I've already got his 36X sets.
Oh, that's too fast for me.
They're just jewels.
You know the one. You know the one of those combat guys like Mike that likes to fly stuff. That I launched a combat ship Saturday. It was electric. It was a Brodak electric set. So we have someone on here who is probably familiar with it. I let go of the airplane and it was on the other side of the circle. I mean, I said, what in the heck? So I just jumped out of the way before it came back around. That thing's too fast for me. And that's an electric.
Wow.
How you guys do the fuel planes? I don't know. But
Well,
he got
mine,
over the guy.
I've still got
guy
just
that
the, I'm just running them on my profiles with, Flight Streak and whatnot with the Venturi insert on suction.
Yeah.
They're not too
Those
bestial.
are-
I've still got pretty fast laps with it. I'm probably running about 4-second laps.
You're too quick for me to stunt. I can't fly that fast. Not in stunt.
Phil,
I can fly it in going circle. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, when you fly an airplane like that, you don't fly it in circles. You stand, you plant
Yeah.
your feet, and you just start tearing holes in the sky,
Yeah, that's it.
right.
and then
Well, that airplane-
and then you just really get then you start having fun. You
Yeah, you
flying
don't
in
chase
circles,
them.
no fun.
Well, that airplane was
Yeah,
my
no.
first in just about 40 years when I took that up a few years ago for my first time out. I redid the old Flight Streak, and they figured it would be pretty fast and to me getting back in and want someone else to test fly it first. And I says, well, I wouldn't have you test fly my wife on our honeymoon.
Yeah,
Mm.
that
I had no-
Brodak. I was going to
Bad.
say that Brodak electric combat plane was kind of a lark. The people who build the ARFs for John, who were building them, the giant, he was getting the stunt planes. They walked over to they were at the Toledo show. They walked over to the booth with a wing. Said, would you like some of these? John, I'm there with John. He says, can you put a motor on this thing? I said, I think so. Hell, I didn't know what to do with it. And then John turns to him and says, I'll take 200 of them. Oh,
Wow.
Hmm.
this is like in April, and then we want to have them demoed at the Brodak Fly-In in June.
Wow.
So the motor and everything wasn't too bad getting, and then worked with Will Huben. He come up with a real nice, simple timer. Had an idea that we could do a entry level, one design, all airplanes equal kind of thing. So there was, the throttle setting was programmed. It wasn't adjustable. 3.5 minute flight time, so you wouldn't have to use too big a battery and stuff like that. We started flying them with an 8.4 prop, and they flew kind of slow. Then somebody said put an 8.4 APC on it. It flew better. Then they put an 8.6, and it started going. Then they put an 8.8 on it.
Look out.
Oh, now we're having fun. Well, I'm flying mine now with a 7.9 on it. All right. And I took it from 42-foot lines and put it out to 52-foot lines. So
That's awesome.
I'm telling
And
you,
that's,
that's too much. That's
yeah, but the biggest problem with it is combat planes goes, they don't bounce very good. They just
No.
don't bounce. So
no, they're pretty. They
yeah,
are fairly fragile.
yeah, they're
Will said they're pretty fragile.
yeah, they fly good, but especially an entry level airplane, it has to be able to bounce, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
So
The guy was
But
asking
for
me, "You
sport-
want to fly it?"
for-
No.
for sport flying
No.
and just tearing holes in the sky, you can have a blast with it.
Here's something to scream with too on them.
Oh yeah.
8.5, 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a box full of these to use up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you how good I am at combat. I built a Voodoo many years ago, and we put a Red Hat 35 on it. I tried to fly that about 4 years ago, right before they destroyed our circle at Hobby Park by dumping loads of dirt on it. Anyway, it's still covered in dirt. We still don't have a grass circle. But anyway, I tried flying that, and when the motor finally ran out of fuel, only thing I could think of was thank God, because I'd been sitting there doing lazy 8s for the longest time.
Well, when I was a kid, sorry, my Voodoo when I was a kid, this is all that's left of it. It didn't last long.
Oops.
Oh me.
I built a brand new Voodoo in the last year. Did I show you guys?
I don't know.
I don't,
Mm-mm.
I don't remember.
I'll bring it up.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. While
Mine
he's
has-
getting that,
mine has-
Charles, can I do a screen share?
Yeah. Go ahead. I know I didn't fix that. Let me fix that. 1 second. All right, it's ready for you now. Go ahead.
All right. All right. The only reason my timing stinks, but okay.
Oh,
Do you see a
that's
setup?
pretty.
Yeah.
Ooh,
This is the John Havel Folkert Speed King. He did it up in the original Folkert's colors, kind of a pale yellow with red trim and stuff. The Jupiter did a fantastic job. This is like 1964, right? The airplane was
It's like a nobler wing.
yeah. Well, let me get to that in a minute. The reason I brought it up is, you see that?
oh my
Oh, good
goodness.
gosh.
The
Magnum wing,
Speed
yeah.
King was basically a redesigned, a different fuselage on a Magnum wing. All right. Now,
Wow.
what
Mhm.
happened early on, the Cleveland guys started building the Magnum, and of course, with the deep wing sweep and stuff like that, the moment arms are really way off. The nose was way too long and stuff like that. Tail too short. They couldn't balance them. They didn't fly worth a darn. So they had, if you will, a second generation, and this was one of those. But he kept the the basic Magnum wing, and did the new fuselage. And then there's a gentleman named Gary Sipra, who was the senior national champion with this design. He did not paint his upscale. He had a non-scale paint job. He called it the Palomino, but it was the same
Yeah, I've never
design
heard about
airplane. Yeah. In retrospect, it's really quite a simple airplane and everything like that. The reason I bring this up is that our good friend, Mr. Miller out there has got a set of Magnum plans.
Yep.
And I want to keep nudging him along on that.
You keep after me. I'll get it done.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to give you a hard time, John. You know that.
I know,
one-
that's okay.
One
should
thing
have-
to look
A lot
at.
of nose ribs for a sheeted leading edge.
Well, that keeps it from sinking in, giving the starved horse look to the
Yeah. But
leading
this
edge.
is an airplane that would look fantastic. Phil, you were talking about taking it and you not necessarily being classic legal. If you took
Yeah.
this wing and brought this leading edge forward about this far, about
Yeah.
2 inches or so, brought the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a fantastic, beautiful shape for the wing. And I think, the lead outs would be, come out in a good position. Now Havel he had adjustable lead outs, but he did have them inside the wing. He did, not like, I think you said Frank McMillan brought his out in front of the wing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, about a third of the way down.
Mm-hmm.
The front
So
line
again-
came out about a third of the way out of the wing, yeah.
Yeah, but if you bring the wingtips forward, it would bring
Wouldn't have to do that.
the MAC forward, in effect, shorten the nose, lengthen the tail, but it would also give you a fighting chance of keeping the lead outs inside the wing and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that'd be a beautiful airplane.
I think looking at it, probably about an inch and 3/8 to an inch and a half forward on the wing sweep. Leave the
Mhm.
bottom sweep like it is.
mm,
I wouldn't go with that kind of a beam though, that beam construction. Well, it'd be okay because it goes all the way to the top of the rib and then it's a
Yeah.
D tube. Yeah.
yeah, this is a nobler structure, 16th
Yeah.
web spar. The only difference is they had half ribs in there, which
Yeah.
the nobler didn't have, but essentially it's a nobler. And one other thing that's a little hard to really call out, look at how thin that tip rib is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They used to go for a relatively, well, for the time, they put a lot in the root and the tips were very thin. And I think the tips were narrow. Again, this was based on a George Aldridge, where he was
Magnum.
thinking at the time. So yeah, based on the Magnum, and I think he was interested in getting to small wingtips with big root cords. So
I'm not sure on that, but I would think that if you take the length of the root cord versus the length of the tip cord, and you'll find the thicknesses are a lot closer than what they look like in percentages.
Mhm.
It looks like 16% approximately, maybe 15 on a root,
Mhm.
but we're probably at, I would say 13, maybe 14 on the tip.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's actually not a bad difference, because a lot of wings are built, tapered from the root to the tip
Yeah.
like that. Some go along pretty much the same chord until right about just a couple of bays before you get to the tip.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I remember seeing the original airplane, and it was just, a stunningly beautiful design and everything, beautifully painted and everything like that. But
Mhm.
this would be on my list of favorites. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty.
There's a link on the Stunthangar forum right now about it's got a movie clip from back in like 38 of a movie called Tailspin.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this airplane design was one of the airplanes, I mean, the full scale. This is very much like one of the designs that was flying in that movie.
Mhm. Well, it's based on the Folkert Speed King. There were 3 models, the SK2, 3, and 4, very, very similar. The SK3 was a Thompson Trophy winner in, I think it was 36 or 37,
Yeah.
something like that. And it won the Thompson Trophy with a little Monasco inline 6 engine. It beat all the big radials and everything like that. So it was small and skinny and sleek and had a
Lightweight.
retractable landing gear.
Yeah, it was a
And,
Manhattan Pirate engine.
The pilot, the woman pilot that was piloting that would at the nose be still taller than the spinner.
Mm.
And she wasn't
Tiny little
very
airplane.
big.
but back to the model for just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm fascinated. I want to see that movie too, but one of the unique features here is they were using Johnson Stunt Supremes, and they were firewall mounting them
Interesting.
with an attempt to try to skinny the nose up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or, narrow the whole fuselage down. You can see the very long torsion bars and then landing gear. They had to be a real soft, squishy landing gear the way that was made and everything like that. So anyhow, there's just a lot of different
That's a nice
techniques.
looking design. I agree.
It really
It's a
is.
really nice looking plane.
It's really nice in 3 dimensions.
If
when
I
you see it
Look
remember-
at
that
the
way.
diamonds. Look at the
If I
diamond shape
remember-
of that stabbed elevator.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I remember correctly in the movie, that go back to the fuselage for a minute. That section there where the pilot sat has the kind of the triangle. Yeah, that section that slid forward.
Oh, wow.
For the pilot to get in and out.
Hmm. How about that? It's a neat looking airplane.
It is. I have a
it
question
is.
about a plane like that taking off, because obviously the nose would be pretty high when it's on the ground. Would that plane just leap in the air, or would you have to really kind of finesse the elevator so that it would stay on the ground to roll out?
Well, go ahead.
Look, I was just going to say, look how far forward, if you're talking, Charles, just a model and everything, look at how far forward the axle is.
Oh, okay.
From the CG.
Okay.
The old 15-degree rule, it don't apply here.
No.
No.
Right?
That's about 19, maybe 19, 20 degrees, which still is a pretty decent. But in the movie, as they'd start taxiing off for the run to take off, you'd see them with a little down elevator on there to get the weight off the tail. As soon as the tail come up, then the plane would start accelerating. They were level, and then they'd get it up to speed and pull it off.
I used to do that with everything. It was tail dragger.
Yeah, I think this would be with a touch of down elevator, even with the gear forward, it would be pretty easy to rotate it and do a main gear takeoff. I don't think you'd want to try a main gear landing. All right, and you see the tail wheel is relatively long. It would be pretty easy to 3-point it, to get the tail on the ground.
Yeah.
And, 2.5-inch wheels that far forward and stuff. I'd expect it to be a pretty good grass airplane too.
Yeah, it would be.
So
I'm wondering why wouldn't you want to land on the mains? I don't understand.
Well, if it's under 20, it should land all right on the mains on with a little finessing. But you wouldn't want to be too much further forward. You start bouncing it pretty bad.
It would be prone to touching on the main gear, slamming the tail down, bouncing back up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I actually
Charles, most times with a plane like that, you either bring it in and land it, just almost stall it onto the ground so that it touches 3-point. Or you have to come in and finesse it down and get, as soon as the main gear touches, give it a little bit of down just to keep it planted.
Give it a lot of down.
Chief.
Yeah.
I had to land a boxcar chief like that.
Yeah.
As soon as it would touch, I throw the down to it. And everybody at VSC was telling me, you're the only one I know lands a boxcar like that. Everybody else lands at 3-point. I said, well, I like to be a little different. The truth of it was, I didn't know any other way to land it.
You'd give it up? Wouldn't you give it up? Are you saying you give it down? I'm thinking you want to.
As soon as the main gear touched, I would give it a little down to make it roll on the front and keep the tail wheel from touching.
Yeah.
Oh,
you want to slam that tail wheel down, or you're going to go airborne again.
Yeah.
Okay, now
you ended up with almost all the down you had in it just before the back end came down touched.
Okay.
But if you didn't, the thing would try to take off again.
Yeah, I think with that long torsion bar and everything like that, this is probably a pretty friendly landing gear for, if in effect, driving it into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It'd be pretty soft.
Yeah, it would be a pretty soft and spongy gear, and it would be friendly for, for holding it down. Probably pretty. You say a little down. This might take a lot of down with the gear. That
a lot of down.
Yeah.
Well,
that's 8-inch gear too.
The Electra had the angle set at 18 degrees, and it would land like a champ on the mains. Just to touch it down as but it had hit the ground. It was like it's glued to the ground, and this looks like it might be close to that. Might be somewhere around 1920. But I was going to ask you, look at that airfoil on the stab.
Diamond shaped, yeah.
Yeah, I would be tempted to make that more airfoiled on the stab itself. Leave the elevator like it is.
Humongous is like that, and man, they fly great.
Do they?
Yes, sir. My Humongous, the lead edge is about, it might be an 1/8, but I don't think, I'd be surprised if it's actually an 1/8. And at the hinge, it's a 1/2 inch tall.
Wow.
And the elevator's the same way. Just
I want to build one of those.
I found that
you'll love it.
I found that sharp, pointy leading edges on things tend to bring on a stall quicker, from everything I've read and experienced. Now I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I always thought that too, John. And then John Daly did that article, How Sharp is Your Trailing Edge? And I started wondering about it. Now I don't know, because I made them blunt for so many years. The Humongous
I was talking about trailing edge. I was talking about leading edge.
Well, I mean leading edge of the stab.
Oh, you said trailing edge. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, leading edge of the stab. John Daly has an article, How Sharp is Your Leading Edge? And I've always, for years, I built flat stabs. And then I started shaping them like that one. And that seems to work pretty good too. But most of the time I airfoil them, but it's not a diamond like that. It comes forward straight for a little ways and then curls in like Al Raby did.
Well, the more I look at this, the better I like it. This might get
me too.
Started on that Magnum again.
Well, if you get started on it, Mr. Adam Miston and I would each like a set of plans to it.
Well,
sir.
that's not, no, I'm talking about the,
Yeah.
I'm talking
Well,
about the
this-
Magnum.
This is, by the way, this is a Pampa plan we're looking at here. All right.
Oh,
So,
okay.
should,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what the status of Pampa plans is anymore. I know they
I
had
don't know
some
either.
trouble with it. But there's other things on this that I really don't like that I think would really stand a testament. Look at how long the control horns are.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we would have to modify that.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's why I think the two best things you can do to a classic airplane are obviously modern power. And right behind that is modern controls.
Yeah, I
Modern
agree.
controls, yeah.
It
That
looks like
gear,
it's got
that gear looks like a real challenge to bend.
Yeah.
Man.
looks like a
Yeah.
3-inch bell crank, which
That'd go for.
that'd go to 4 right off the bat. And probably a 1-inch long elevator horn. And
Oh,
1 inch,
gosh.
a hole at 1 inch on the flap horn and another hole about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch above that.
It's
Yeah,
a
I'm
pretty
pretty sure.
airplane.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, 3-inch bell crank. Of course, I build everything. I always use a 4 just cause.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
yeah, I'd use the 4 and I'd use longer horns at the flap and elevator and I'd be so sorely tempted to change the shape of the wing, even if it wouldn't be legal, but I don't know. Then I'd have to learn how to paint because the thing's got some nice little logos and stuff. I'm not sure exactly how Havel did it. I don't think they were decals, but maybe with modern paint masking and stuff like that, what's called the modern mask, the pre-cut mask, I think it might be pretty doable, but
Need to get you a cricket. If you can find a print of it, you can make a mask for it.
that's it. That's what it would take, Phil. But again, some modern technology applied here. I mean, all those blocks, it's just screaming
Yeah.
for molded parts, isn't it? And
Yeah, it
stuff
really
like
is.
that. So,
Hey guys, Howard has a question. Go ahead, Howard.
I was going to show you a stab if you're interested in seeing a stab.
oh,
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Are you done, Dennis?
okay. Yeah, I think I'm all done with this. I'll stop. There we go.
Speed King. That is sharp. I like that.
Let's see here. How do I get?
So many planes, so little time.
Oh, that's
Isn't
it.
that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
I got 28 on my list.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for coming in, Steve.
Beginner.
After I
Howard's
got
still
those
there?
Parker engines, I got another one on my list now. I think I'm definitely going to go for a belfry bound just to be different for old timer because I got that
That
60
was-
to use.
Yeah,
That was the
Charles,
most different old timer I ever saw.
Charles, you ought to build yourself an old timer something, just so you can deal with a goofy landing gear and a flapless design and stuff. The airplanes are a lot of fun to fly, and you will learn some new techniques and handling some new challenges.
Huh.
I think it's
Build
a
you a stunt
blast.
wagon.
Huh.
Build you a stunt wagon 60.
Hey, a
If you
stunt
can
wagon
land
would.
that, if you can
Yeah.
land that, you can land anything.
I think his stunt wagon ought to have the Stalker 80 in it, though, right?
Oh my God.
I'm
guys
putting
are
a 46 in my new one. Every
Yeah, I was
I've
doing
always
some
put
snooping
Fox
and-
59s, but this one's gonna have 46.
Well, hey,
Howard-
according to the plans, the Bolt says his did 110 miles an hour on 021 70-foot lines. 110
Mhm.
miles an hour with like a 4.5-pound airplane. Let me know how it works out for you, all right?
I'm not
I'll
gonna
wa-
do that.
I'll
Well,
I'll
I saw
get
that
my
RSM has a
popcorn.
belfry bound kit.
Wow, I didn't know there was a kit.
It's $240, I think, or something. But given the hassle of getting wood, and if what I hear, their wood's fairly decent. It might be that makes
Yeah.
sense. Just go that route. Get a laser cut one. And
Yeah, the kit I have from him is amazing wood. It's really pretty.
Mhm.
What happened to Howard?
I'm here.
Oh, we
Okay.
can't see nothing, Howard.
I don't know why that is.
Somebody's lit a cigarette, but as far as seeing anything, I'm seeing a black screen.
Yeah, me too.
Yes,
Okay.
all I see too, Howard, is a black screen.
You trying to
little bitty
share
figure
or
in the
just?
I see a little snowman there. Is there?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we see.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a dark screen, but it's upside down.
Well, I don't know how to fix that.
Hmm.
Well, you were on there before, Howard.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Like you shut video down.
Yeah, it's what it looks like, but I don't see how to turn it back on. Let's see what we got here. There's Zoom meeting. I'll go away and come back.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah, come back.
Okay.
Did you fly today, Charles?
No, I got life getting away, but I'm ready. It's all ready to go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you
Steve,
got-
what's that plan behind you?
Oh, that's stunt
Well,
machine.
there you are. Howard's back.
Okay.
Here I am.
60 or 40?
All right, Howard. Now I can spotlight you for everybody.
There you are.
Right.
Here's what we were using for stabs on impacts.
Yeah, that's what mine looks
Now
like.
we're talking.
Just
That's what mine look like.
flat with a round leading edge, and this one has some trip strips on the leading edge. This little lattice, it looks cool. Made by
It does
Mac.
look cool.
I can't see it.
Can't even
Where
see
is
it,
the
Howard.
where are the
Look at the
trip strips?
elevators. Show us the elevators.
Clear
Nice.
clear plastic stuff on the leading edge.
Man, they are clear.
I don't
There
see
they
it.
are. Okay.
I really
You
don't
can
see it.
sort of see it. And so this is the fashion now.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that the
That's
leading
sharp.
edge?
Leading edge here.
Wow.
wow.
I don't know.
That's-
I don't know how well you're gonna like it.
I like it as well as the other one, but I can't tell the difference.
Okay, you really?
But everybody else thinks it's wonderful. Well, everybody else, all the local guys.
Okay.
In theory, it should shave off a tiny bit of weight.
I lost a little weight. It's got
Well,
well, not me, but the stab did.
Can you see that, Howard?
Huh?
Can you
Wow.
see that one?
Can I see what one?
I'm holding up that stab.
Oh, no, I only see
That
myself.
looks like the old style one.
Here you go. Now you're showing
No,
up.
it's not the
Oh,
old.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's round. Yeah, it's got taper at the front too.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Is
sharp.
that-
There's a
leading edge,
piece
too.
of carbon fiber in that. That thing would cut you.
Yeah, I got a piece of carbon fiber in there.
What plane is that, Steve?
That's Samantha's airplane, but it hops coming out of squares and stuff. If you hit it really hard, it will make that airplane. We've all got it trimmed out, but it makes it really touchy.
It's
Yeah.
not the sharp leading edge on the stab, I don't think.
Yeah, I would just lengthen the arms on the handle. That's what happened to me at the Nats, and Sparky told me to lengthen the legs on my handle to get rid of that hop. 'Cause I was
Yeah,
hopping-
isn't it interesting how that works?
Yeah. Is when I was turning Sparky's plane, I came out with hard corner with hop, and he told me to lengthen
Samantha
the
flies a hard point handle that you can't adjust.
Oh, that's too bad.
When you say lengthen the arms, lengthen the length of the arm away from your hand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just open it up.
Yeah.
Not open it.
So open the width of,
You want to come away from your knuckles.
oh, okay.
Is
Yeah,
what
I
he's
never do
Both-
that. I fly all
both
my
of them.
airplanes as close to my knuckles as I can.
Well,
No,
that's the thing. If you don't have a problem, then that's fine. But when you have a problem, the solution is to lengthen the arms on the handle. I didn't have a problem until I flew
Not
Sparky.
increase the handle spacing,
They said again, how?
not increase the handle spacing.
No.
That's what I reduce the handle spacing if it jumps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kept the handle spacing the same. I lengthened the arms the same length.
Oh,
No.
Wait a minute, are you saying you brought the arm out away from your hand further?
Yes. Yes. Both up and down the same length.
the three of us
Wow.
have 3 different fixes for that.
Yeah, isn't that wild, eh?
Well, it worked. I'm telling you. I mean, I was clueless when Sparky told me. I said, "What? What?" And then he explained to me, and I said, "Oh, okay, now I get it." So then I lengthened the arms on my. I have a Brent Williams Ted Fancher handle, and those you can lengthen the arms.
Yeah, I have one of those kits downstairs. I never have built it, but I've got it.
Yeah, I want to make another elevator stab or whatever.
Hey, Robert, thanks for coming in.
If it makes any difference.
Hey, Robert.
We ended up taking out elevator movement, was solving it. Keeping the flaps the same, but reducing how much the elevator would move.
I'm not at all saying that's the only way to fix it.
Oh, no, everybody has their ways that's working for them. I get it.
But we just thought it was really touchy because of that being so sharp. That if you come out not perfectly flat and have a little bit of up in that stab or down, it makes it, then you try to adjust it. And that's our thinking on it. I don't know if that was
Makes you
true
try
or
to
not.
hop.
I don't think so.
So did you ever answer Phil's question about the plans there next to you, to your right, Steve?
Yeah, they are a USA AMA or a stunt machine, the original.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we ever get to where we can get plans from Pampa again, I want to get a set of those. I have a set, but the set I have were the ones that were sold through. I think it was one of the magazines. I'm not going to say which one because I'm afraid I'll say the wrong one.
I think it was Flying
And
Models. Yeah.
They are way wrong.
This is
They are terrible.
This is a Pampa one here. I
Yeah,
got it
that's what
from
I'm
Bob
looking
Hunt.
for. That's what I'm looking for. Mine is the other one, and it shows a plane that flies clockwise and a tank that's made for counterclockwise.
Brother.
And
Brother.
and the rest of the plans are equally screwed up. So, and I was talking to Bob, and he said that the guy knew about 2 airfoils, and he put that on every plane that he drew. And so I don't have any idea what the thing's actually supposed to be, but when I get a set of Pampa plans to it, I'll probably build one of those. That's one of the ones on my list, but my plans are terrible.
Basically, that was an idea that I had for an electric that was a thinner wing, stuff like that. And Bob sent me that, and I talked to Bob. Well, I got Bob thinking, and his new airplane is 620 square inches or what. It's a USA wing in all of his new airplanes, even that twin. But he made it a double tape. He double tapered it.
Yeah,
is the only difference.
I'm doing that too now.
But
I even took out some of the sweep in the leading edge to give me 12 degrees in the trailing edge.
Because I just think that when you can cut back the RPM of an electric motor, you can go with a lot thinner wing because it's not going to speed up, and that was the that's why Wendy went with a real thick wings, was to keep from the wind up from, affecting
the
airplane.
Slow that bugger down.
Yeah, slow it down.
Well,
I
do you
want to
have a
know,
coffee shop?
what does a sharp leading edge do over a blunted leading edge?
It's me.
I was told it's to make them more responsive. And that's what got me thinking that it was making it too responsive.
No, it won't affect the lift per degree. It won't change that. That's the same for all airfoils at low angles of attack. But stabilizers in stunt planes work at weird flight conditions. They're probably stalled out during a maneuver. So the thing's rotating at 300 degrees per second, and so they're operating at a strange angle of attack. I don't know. Anyhow, folks have found that this shape stab works quite well and does the opposite of the problem you're having. It fixes that problem.
Oh, okay.
However, that said, I can't tell the difference between that and a round with the trip strip
Just
on
leave
it.
mine the way it is then.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
it could be that this, the short tail couple or whatever, I don't know. I'd have to measure that and see where, that might be why it's a little touchy. Maybe
Is that the one she's bringing to Brodak?
no, I linked
shucks.
everything on the one we're going to do from Brodak.
Hey, Steve, do you have a
That's
copy
the
shop near you?
cracker.
Huh?
Do you have a copying shop near you, like Staples or something?
No, there's one in the next town. Well, not really the next town, about 4 towns away.
No, I just wondering if it was handy if you could just run a copy of that through there for Phil.
I'd have to get down to Kinko's or whatever. If
Yeah,
I get
just a thought.
back into the city, it's right downtown Grand Rapids.
Yeah, because I can sympathize with Phil for Pampa plants being a pain to get.
Yeah. They're hard to get right now. Well, I have been the last 2 years,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we'll get it eventually.
We got
Ever-
there's Kinko's and then there's Reproduction Arts, and I usually go to Reproduction Arts.
Yeah.
And have
We
it
have
down
one of those
there.
here.
Huh?
We have one of those here, but it's in Greensboro. I'll go over there and get some stuff done.
Yeah, it's about 40 miles away from me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
that's
had
about
some
what this
rented
place
at
is.
Staples Office Supply, and the quality was really good, and it was cheap. A set of plans is about $12.
Yeah.
I
If
think
I
I
go
was
to
paying,
if I go to my
only
local
paying like
place,
$3-4 to run off a set of plans.
wow, that's
Pretty
great.
cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah, I don't, it's been a while. I had a bunch of ringmasters ran off and stuff like that for different people. And, but this guy's a big airplane guy. He's got like these, Guilo kits. The whole inside of his place is every single Guilo kit ever made. He's got hanging.
Wow, neat. That's neat. I've got the guy that used to do mine at Repro Graphics, loved airplanes, and I used to go in there with sailplanes all the time, get him to do my sailplane plans. I'd draw, set up, and build the airplane, then have him make me a set of plans. I'd redraw my plans after I built the airplane, and then have him do me 5 sets of them so I could send them to a couple different friends around the country. And he would always say, "You don't mind if I keep a set, do you?" I said, "No, I don't mind." So I'd run 6 sets. Well, I started getting home, realizing I had 6 sets. So I asked him one time, I said, "I thought you said you was going to keep a set." He says, "This thing records everything I copy. I can reproduce anything I've copied." So come find out he was a sailplane builder himself. So I went out and flew with him one time. He's a heck of a sailplane builder, but he got into not building, because anyway, he's flying moldies now.
Okay.
I still like the woodcrafters. He's flying moldies, but he's a heck of a pilot.
Well, gentlemen, I'd better shut down. I got to be airborne by 8 o'clock in the morning. It's getting on here.
Oh
So
Lord.
All right.
Well,
Hey,
I
thanks
think
for
I'm
coming in.
gonna get off too, but for
Yeah, we're
completely
almost a
different
minute
reason.
away from ending the live stream. So thank you,
Yeah.
Robert, for coming in.
good night.
Good
All
night.
right, Robert.
Take care, Robert.
You too.
I really expected Trayan to be in tonight. I'm surprised.
He's a busy boy.
Yeah, well, he's getting ready to leave for that trip.
Yeah, he's probably at home putting templates on my airplane to paint it. He's going to paint it up like one of his, because mine's all black. So he's going to paint it up and take it as a reserve. But I hope it don't confuse him too bad because mine's got Fioretti in it. His has got the other system in it. Lord, the two back and forth.
Oh, you took that one plane back that I gave you the wings for, and that.
He's got it to use as a spare. Yes.
Oh,
He's
okay.
borrowing it. I'm getting it back. It's not. I'm supposed to get it back. He's taking it for spare, and then I'm supposed to get it back in 2 weeks. But he's going to test flight for me.
All right.
So it's just, I got it in here, got it all fixed up. It's the one I blew all the papers. I had a whole bunch of papers on the end of the table down there, and Steve and I figured out the programming, and I turned it on just to see would it just start. Oh, it started. I couldn't get it off fast enough. Good grief! There's papers all over this dining room and living room both.
Yeah,
that thing got some thrust.
Yeah, I hope that.
I'm going to end the stream, you guys. So let me just end the stream real quick. But thank you very much for coming in. And, noticing that our average view duration is like 24 minutes. That doesn't sound like a lot, but usually it's a lot less than that. So I think we really had a very interesting show. And so thank you for that. Appreciate it. And I want to say one last comment from Tom Creasy. He said, I built a diamond stab elevator for my future stunt ship. So I'm all caught up. And at the height of our show, we had as many as like 28 viewers, looks like. So we only have 19 likes. So I'm going to end the show. But if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button and consider the YouTube memberships and also the super chats. Super chats you only can do during a live stream. So just consider the like and subscribe, and I greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to end the live stream. We'll see you guys back Friday. I'll see you guys then. Hopefully go out there and have some fun or work in your shop and come back and do a show and tell.